Hey everybody, this is my latest rack grade that I got from CMP. Overall, I'm happy with it. I think the metal's in pretty good condition for a rack grade. I want to redo the stock. This stock right here, even though it's a walnut stock, it feels like it's been stripped. So I'm going to sand it down, put some oil on it, and I'm going to see what happens. These are spare hand guards. I'm going to sand this back down. See if it matches this wood better, and even this one, because these are definitely darker wood. Even though this is a beautiful color, let's see if I can match this up with this. This is going to be actually the first major breakdown I've done with it, because I haven't cleaned it up yet. So I'm going to break it down, clean all the metal up, re-lube it all, and then I'm going to start working on the stock, work on these hand guards, and see what they look like. Alright, broke it all down. I cleaned it, all the metal so far. Just going to let it sit there for a minute. Then I'll put some grease on it. This is my butt plate. Underneath, a little bit of rust. So I'm going to clean that all up. Get all the rust out of it. I got some spare metal pieces over here. Just see what I did. One piece that's coming off of here, which I'm going to replace. Where's it at? I've already taken it off. I think maybe it's this piece. It's hard to tell, but it's kind of bent. That's why when I told you, the first video I showed how I was uning the bottom part to the top, to the barrel and all that. This is a little bent. You can't quite tell it, but it is bent and look a little bit. So I'm definitely going to replace that. I got a couple spare ones. I'll definitely be replaced. I'm going to sand these down. Start putting oil on them. Probably do like 5 or 6 coats. It'll take a while. I'll show you the different stages. I might let this soak a little bit, and I'll put everything back together and see what it looks like. Alright, this is the first stage of sanding. I did a 220 grit paper, made it nice and smooth. And I'm probably going to hit it with a. I'm going to put a coat of oil on it. Then after that, I'm just going to hit it with a 200 grit paper. See how it turns out. Probably put, like I say, about 5 or 6 coats of oil on it. Now this piece, I think they use some type of lacquer on it. You still see it's a little bit in the grooves. I don't want to keep sanding it too much because I don't want to. So I just want to do a light sanding. I don't want to really bring it down too much. And let's see how this one turns out. But it's still real dark down below here. But we'll see what happens. Alright, I'm just going to put a coat of oil on it. And I'll let it sit. Probably take about a day or two. I'll come back and sand it down. And alright, this is just the first coat of oil. Put tung oil on it. 100% pure tung oil. I put the first coat on, I put it real thick on. I want the wood to soak it up as much as it can. It'll probably take about a good day, maybe 2 days to soak it up. We'll see how dry the wood is, But it's already bringing out a beautiful color in it, beautiful wood grain. It's just the first coat. After that, I'm going to sand it down. 200 grit paper. I mean, not 200, like 400 grit paper. Just light sanding. And I'll add more oil on it. I'll do that maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times. We'll see how it comes out. Well, I'm happy with it. It's going to look good when it's all done. Okay, this is first coat of oil. Just going to let it sit. Let time do its magic. I'll come back to it in a couple days. Alright, this is just after 1 day. color of this stock is coming out beautiful. thick right there, the oil, but I'm really impressed with how well it sucked it in. Sucked in pretty much all that oil. And the beauty of this stock is it's really showing. Now, these are the hand guards that I thought were going to match. I don't think they are. I'm thinking about taking these out. There's another spare ones I have. Give them a quick sand down. Start putting some oil on them, see what they look like. It's a little darker, but it might be a better match instead of these. A little too light. So I'm going to switch up, try these hand guards out. The spare ones I have. So I'm going to sand this down. I'm going to use 400 grit paper. Sand this down, put another coat of oil on this. I'll probably hit these with 200 grit, 220. Just sand them nicely, nice and lightly, just to scruff it up. And put some oil on it, see how it looks. Take this metal off. That's my plan now. I'm gonna put those away. Try these out. All right, this is so this is the second coat of oil on the main stock. And like I said, I'm switching up from these forearms to these forearms. This one's a little darker, but I think it's going to match up better with this stock. You can tell this one's really nice already. I've only put one coat of oil on that, let it soak in. This is the second coat of oil in here. I put it on lighter. First coat I put on nice and thick. Second coat I put a lot lighter because the wood won't be absorbing as much. And I think I'll put those away because I need them for some other project. So it's just going to be a little darker, but I'm just going to be happy with it. It's going to be better than how it came when it first looked. Alright. Let it give it a couple days to dry, and then I'll come back and probably put some more coats on. Alright, I think I'm all done putting the oil and the sand in now. I got 4 coats of oil in here. I'm going to put 3 coats on these. And it's hard to tell, but there's actually a P mark. Very faint. So there's a P mark there. It's the only mark I could ever find on this stock. I thought it might have just been a generic walnut stock, but it does actually have a P mark on it. Very faint, you can barely see it. But unfortunately there is no other marks on here. And when I sanded, I only lightly sanded it, but I didn't see anything before I started sanding. Like I say, putting the oil in, that brought out this P mark. Alright, last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a coat of wax on it. I use this Renaissance wax. Any type of wood wax is good. Basically what it does is seals it up, protects it from moisture and all that. And I'll put it on, let it sit for about 10 minutes, and I'll rub it off. And I'm going to put everything back together. So I've already cleaned all the parts. Just put a nice coat of grease on everything, some oil, put it all back together. I'll take it to the range. Alright, this is my end product. So I put 4 coats of tung oil on this, 3 on the hand guards. So I think it turned out pretty nice. And the wooden matches pretty nicely too. Just some oil that I put on the metal. Found a problem with this piece right here. It was bent, so I had to replace that. And so I did find a P mark. Can't see it, so it's so hard to see. It's so faint. There's a P mark there. I thought, like I said, I thought there was just a generic piece of walnut stock, but it's not. Turned out a beautiful color. The grains really come out. I'm really happy with it. So. People have seen this trick before. I don't like having, I like having enough tension on my trigger. Pull the Garand back, pull the bolt back till you kind of feel it hit something. Doesn't work all the time, but there you go. Now your hammer's dropped. So you bring it back to like halfway point, pulling the trigger. You kind of feel like almost hit something, or maybe a little more resistance, like better explanation. And then you pull the trigger. So you pull it halfway down, pull the trigger, and then let it up, and then your hammer will come up at the same time. That way you have no tension on your spring, on your trigger. That's the way I like to store them. That is it. Another one for the safe. I'm gonna try to get one more. I haven't decided. Well, this is my rack grades. Got this in August, end of August, 2022. So I had to did this stock. Felt like it was stripped, very dull. Put some oil on it. Put a coat of after I do the oil, put a coat of wax on it. That seals it up. Metal is pretty good on this. A little bit of pitting, but nothing, nothing crazy. The only piece I had to replace is this piece right here. Other than that, I think she's a keeper. Alright, well, thanks for watching.